what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So I have got the car all set up in terms of where I want it in terms of the heights. After we did the KW V3 suspension, we put the Volk TE37 SLs on. So we got the car all set and it is very, very, very low. I mean, we are talking like 2.5, 3 inches off the ground, and it's pretty darn low. So I had to be super careful in terms of the lip. It's an $800 carbon fiber lip, so we'll see how long that one lasts. But something more important to address in this video, and something that I wanted to install right away. Now, BMW engineering decided to put the oil cooler underneath the car, so it's sitting directly flat underneath the car, underneath the front bumper kind of area, right around here, facing this way. Now, obviously that has some cons simply because it's open to the elements. Now, obviously there is a plastic under tray under there from BMW that they install on the car, but it is pretty darn sketchy, I'm not gonna lie. Having an oil cooler directly in front of the car, you know, facing parallel to the street, to the ground, you know, it kind of makes me a little unwary. Now, being even lower than the car has ever been, it's a little nerve-wracking knowing that it's so close to the ground and that a rock, something in the road can come up, hit the oil cooler, and basically leave the car immobile. Also, it can damage your motor if you don't notice something right away, because it can puncture that oil cooler and cause a lot of issues. Now, obviously it can happen stock. You don't have to be as low as I am as well. You have to hit the right thing in the road for it to actually happen. But I like to do everything precautionary to make sure that I am doing everything possible to make the car as safe, reliable as possible. So I started doing some research, looking into some aftermarket under trays to protect that cooler, and I came across 2 different versions, one of which is by a brand called Fall Line. Fall Line makes some fantastic race car parts. So the Fall Line oil cool guard is very, very nice. However, there's 2 things that made me not decide on it. One of which is the price. The price is just under $1,000 for a piece of metal basically that protects the oil cooler. But it does protect more than the stock under tray piece because it comes up on the sides and it's a little bit more protective. However, there is a second thing that made me decide not to do it, and that is that you have to do some modifications in order to get it to fit. You have to drill some extra holes. You have to do a little bit more underneath to get this thing on properly. Those 2 cons right there made me take it off the list and made me start looking into other options. So I came across this one. This is by Turner Motorsports. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with that brand. They're very into racing, very into the BMW world, and they make some really, really nice parts. Now this, the Turner Motorsport one, is almost an exact replica of the stock piece. The only difference of this one is that it is metal. Much better quality, much higher quality, and it is really, really nice. Obviously, something metal like this compared to plastic where it can bend and crack very easily, this is going to be way more resistant to, you know, anything that may come up and possibly damage your oil cooler. So this is basically going to deflect any larger debris in the road that could cause some issues. So this piece is really nice. You can actually get it in 2 different finishes. You can get it in the wrinkled black, which is what I got, or you can get it in the raw finish. For me, I like it OEM as possible, so I went for the little bit more expensive coating, the wrinkled black finish, which is really, really nice. And this thing is very, very high quality. So if you look on the other side, you can see it has all the trim, the little seals and everything, so it seals nice and tight up against the oil cooler. So 2 reasons as to why I chose this one over the Fall Line is 1, cost. This thing is just around $500, so it's nearly half the cost of the Fall Line. And number 2, it uses all factory holes, all factory mounting points. So it literally just take the stock one off and put this one on. It uses all the same holes and everything, which is great. They also give you the option to pick up all brand new bolts. So these are 11 8mm bolts, all brand new BMW pieces. Here is the part number if you guys are interested, but you can purchase this along with the Turner Motorsport skid plate if you want to. I think it was only like 10 or 12 bucks or so to get that, so I figured why not. So I ordered this on a Friday night. I think it was around like 7, 8 o'clock at night. You know, I was just kind of hanging out and watching some TV, and I was like, you know what? I need to get this as soon as possible. Let me order it up. So after I ordered it, I got confirmation like a normal order. And then this thing arrived Sunday morning. Sunday, which is crazy. So it was basically one ship day. They're out in Ohio, so it's not too far from New Jersey, but either way, they got this thing packed, shipped, and out to me super, super fast, and it came to me literally in a day and a half. and I got it on a Sunday. So huge shout out to Turner Motorsports for not only supplying this amazing piece, but shipping it out super, super fast. So let's go ahead, let's jack up the front of the car, get everything ready. I'll show you what the stock piece looks like and kind of just where we are in the car and what we're actually replacing. And once I get the stock one off, I'll show a comparison between the two so you guys can see the differences and just how much better this is. Again, this is something that I highly recommend, even if you're at stock height, if your car is completely stock. You know, this is a very, very worthy investment. I'd rather spend $500 or so than damaging the oil cooler and potentially kind of grenading your motor. So let's go ahead and get started on this install. So the car is jacked up, ready to go. We have complete access to the under tray that we are replacing. But before anybody says anything, yes, I know I need quick jacks. Every single time I jack up the car, I'm yelling at myself to pick up a set. It's been many, many years that I've been thinking and wanting a set. And I think this year, finally, I'm going to grab a set. I'm going to wait until Black Friday deals, holiday deals, see if there's anything that comes out. Because I know usually, you know, they put up deals for those. So I'll probably snag one during the holidays because I am done jacking up cars. It takes so much longer than it really needs to. And I'm always working on cars, whether changing wheels or doing exhaust work or what have you, oil changes. It's something that I can definitely benefit from. So just wanted to say that because every video I jack up a car, everyone always yells at me about getting a quick jack. So definitely coming very, very soon. All right, so here we are, front of the car. You go directly under and you can see the oil cooler right there. So what we're replacing is this whole plastic piece, as you can see, very fragile. It does protect it somewhat here, but it is so simple for these things to break. I've seen a lot of people go to replace this and the fins right here are either broken off or there's a big chunk missing out of here. So it's very, very prone to cracking, and this is definitely going to help a lot and add a lot of reassurance. There are 11 8mm around the whole entire piece. So there's a couple up front, some on the sides, and some on the back. So we're gonna go ahead and zip them off with the Milwaukee, get this off, and then we can replace it. Super simple. I'm going to be using the new hardware that they gave me, just so there's nice fresh hardware under there and we're not going to run into any issues. So let's go ahead, take this off, and then we'll show a comparison. All right, so lo and behold, we have to remove something else to get to the last bolt. We got to remove these little side plastic pieces to get to the 13mm underneath. So once we remove that piece right here, you gain access to this 13mm, and whoops, and you can take it out and the piece comes out. So let me go ahead and do the other side and the piece will come out. So we got the oil cooler cover off, but I also took off the metal skid plate where the oil pan is and everything. This is the first time I'm actually under the car this way. I've only been up to the downpipes, and you know, this car is relatively new to me, so I never got a chance to get under here and take a look, but it is spick and span. I didn't have to do any wiping or anything like that. It is literally looks brand new. I also took a quick moment to clean up the under tray, the little skid plate. I mean, it was just kind of grime and stuff just from driving from the previous owner, but as you can see, this thing is spotless. I pretty much just rinsed it off and wiped it down real quick, and it looks brand new. Call me crazy, but this is the kind of stuff that I enjoy doing, knowing that it's completely clean under there when I have the chance, because I figured it's right there, might as well do it. So as you can see, perfectly clean, looks beautiful underneath. But all right, let's get back to the oil cooler guard. All right, so the nice and clean skid plate is back on. So let's take a look at the oil cool guard. So as you can see, this is the stock one. That is the Turner Motorsports one. Massive difference in terms of quality. Again, this is just plastic, so it can easily break. This is metal, so that is not going to break. If anything, it's just going to dent if you hit something big enough. But with something like this, I mean, look, I'm doing this with my hand, barely any effort at all, and this can easily crack, no problem, causing damage to your oil cooler. So if we compare the difference, as you can see, all the holes are exactly the same. It just lines up and bolts exactly the same as this one, but much higher quality. You get a nice little kind of plaque there so you can see what brand it is. And yeah, so I'm super happy I decided to go with this one over the other options out there. I mean, this thing looks beautiful. Granted, I'm not gonna be able to see it ever, but knowing it's there and knowing that It's going to protect the oil cooler much better. It's going to make me sleep better at night. So if we take a look underneath, obviously this one's nice and dirty, but this one doesn't have a rubber gasket at all. If we turn around on the Turner Motorsport one, as you can see, this actually does have a little bit of a gasket. So what that's actually going to do is seal it up. So it's going to direct the air into the cooler much better than this. Obviously the venting and everything is very similar, if not the same, but having the little gaskets around here, again, it's going to seal up the actual oil cooler, and it's going to shoot the air directly into the cooler, as opposed to this, where this is just plastic and it can escape and you won't get as good of cooling. So not only are you protecting the oil cooler better, but you're getting a little bit better cooling capabilities with the design of this. So let's go ahead and throw this on and see how it looks. All right, so real quick, as I was installing this, I realized there's no inserts for them to screw into. You actually have to transfer over from the stock under tray, these little clips right here, and move them onto here. As you can see, I did 2 already, which is kind of odd because they include the ones back here. You can buy the OEM 8mm as a kit. You can get it included, but they don't include the clips. I don't know if that was supposed to be a part of it, or I just didn't get them, or I didn't see it in the box. I don't know. I looked through everything. I didn't see it, but not a big deal. But I just thought that was kind of odd because, I don't know. They already have them on the back there. I don't know, whatever. So let me go ahead, just transfer these 2 over, and then we can get it on the car. All right, got all the clips on. All I was doing was taking a flathead, getting under the kind of corner right here, pushing it up, and then they were able to slip out, and they slip right on here, no problem, and they'll be good to go. So, all right, let's get this on the car. All right, guys, so I got everything buttoned up. Everything looks beautiful. And before anybody says anything, yes, I did scrape a little bit when I was coming out of my driveway for the first time after the lowering with the coilovers. So it's just on this tab, so it's not bad. But it's bound to happen. Just wanted to point that out because I know someone's going to say something. But oil cooler guard, very, very happy. Everything fit beautifully. It looks great under there. I mean, look how much better it's protected. And the really cool thing is, as I mentioned, the seals back here, when you're actually bolting it up, it really, really seals against the back of the cooler. So there's no air that's going to escape, and it's just going to go directly into the actual cooler and keep things performing much, much better. All the bolt holes and mounting points lined up perfectly. So there was no finagling or anything or kind of pushing things in the right direction. It all fit just like OEM, and it looks so much better. Really happy I decided to go with this one, and I definitely recommend it. So if anybody's looking for a little bit more protection, go with the Turner Motorsport oil cooler guard. All right, guys, car's back on the ground. Everything is cleaned up, and I couldn't be happier with the Turner Motorsport oil cooler guard. I know it's something that you're obviously not going to see every single day. In fact, I'm hardly ever going to see it. But again, knowing I'm doing everything possible to protect this motor, this car for many, many miles and many, many years, you know, it's worth it to me. And for the $500 or so that this thing cost, knowing that I only spent that is kind of peace of mind instead of completely blowing up and putting a hole in my oil cooler and possibly causing thousands and thousands of dollars. So the $500 investment, I believe, is 100% worth it. And again, I couldn't recommend it enough. It fit beautifully, uses all OEM hardware and the mounting points, so you don't have to do any customization or drilling or cutting any pieces or anything like that. I didn't want to do that to this car, and I truly think I made the right decision going with this one. And if you guys know me, I do not mind spending money on my cars, so I naturally went to the fall line, went to the more expensive one thinking it was better. But in the long run, I couldn't be happier with my choice. I think it is definitely the better route to go. And if you guys are looking for a little bit more protection for your oil cooler guard, highly recommend it. I will leave a link below, the exact one that I got. Again, you can get it in 2 different colors. You can get it in the wrinkled black or the raw finish. I just think the wrinkle black looks a little bit cleaner, and you're not going to be able to see it underneath. It's going to be a little bit more, I guess, camouflage, a little bit more discreet as opposed to the raw finish. And yeah, so there's the stock one. I'm actually going to clean that up real quick so I can store it away with all of the other parts I got up there, all the stock parts. That's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all about the Turner Motorsport oil coil guard, please leave them in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.